Hey guys, we got some huge breaking news. I'll tell you about that in a minute, guys. But this is huge, huge. If you're a Marvel fan, this will blow your heads off, blow your mind. This is AA with our Entertainment, Aaron Entertainment, bringing you It's All About the Pop episode 9, one episode away to episode 10. And let's get to the breaking news now. This came out of left field, guys. According to IGN, Chris Evans is returning as Captain America, is in talks and returning to the MCU in some capacity as Captain America. Let's go to the article, guys, shall we? Let me just pop it up and I'll show you the article. Just make it bigger for you guys. Now let's get down. Let's scroll. Chris Evans reportedly in talks to reprise role as Captain America in the MCU. Here we go. Let me see. Here was read out the article written by Joe Scrabis of IGN. So according to Deadline sources, it is unlikely that Evans will return into a fully fledged Captain America movie, with the likelihood being that he'll make guest appearances in another superhero movie, such as Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark appearing in Spider-Man: Homecoming. So you'll have the Tony. I guess I understand what it means. Deadline reports that the deal isn't closed, but it is headed in the direction of Evans returning to the role that he publicly said would be risky to come back to. It is not hard. No, it is not a hard no. Evans explained in May last year, but it's not an eager yes. I think Cap has such a tricky act to stick landing, and I think they did a really nice job of letting him complete his journey. Okay, so let's end that. Oh, hey Jobber, how are you, man? Yeah. Hey, how are you, Jobber? Doing well, huh? So you heard the big news? If you're a Marvel fan, Captain America is in talks to coming back to have a role like Tony Stark's Iron Man and Spider-Man: Homecoming. So he won't have a big role, he'll have a supporting role. We all know at the end of Endgame, he goes back in time, grows old with Peggy, and his story in the MCU. But it would seem like he was dead in the MCU, but I guess not. And I'm not shocked at all. I'm not surprised. I think he was going to come back the whole time. Maybe not in a big role in the MCU. Big role in the MCU. Comes to a supporting role. Maybe he'll. I'm doing quite well. How are you today? Or tonight, wherever you are. We got Falcon, Winter Soldier and Falcon. Falcon and Winter Soldier coming in March. I don't know if it's a one season thing. If they go past 1 or 2 seasons, if it's more than one season, perhaps they could find a role for Captain America to appear in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, or it'll be in another movie. I don't know what other movie that could use Captain America. In the MCU right now, I can't think of any because the only movies that are coming out right now are the Eternals. That's supposed to come out, Shang-Chi and Black Widow, and obviously Captain America doesn't need to be in those movies. So maybe he'll end up if it's not a big role, maybe he'll end up in those Marvel TV series that Disney and the Marvel Studios is developing. You know, we got bunch of them in the in the way. We got three of them in the first quarter. We got WandaVision is starting tomorrow. I'll talk about that tomorrow. Talk about that after, but that's tomorrow. And then March, once that ends, Falcon and Winter Soldier. And then May, when that ends, we got Loki. But there's others in development. We got She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, not Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel. I think we got Moon Knight, possibly, and others coming down the pipeline for the MCU. Now, maybe we'll end up in a Loki show. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities they could do with him. Not in the movies. It's gonna be a smaller role, so most likely in the TV shows, the weekly episode shows on Disney Plus for the MCU. So we're kicking off the next phase 4 of the MCU. Phase 3 ended in 2019 with Endgame. So beginning of this year, Phase 4 is kicking off not with movies, but with WandaVision. That's when Phase 4 officially begins. My guess is, I don't think Black Widow would have kicked off Phase 4 because that story took place during Phase 3. The Black Widow's story, even though it's coming out in May this year, her story in her movie was taking place during Phase 3. I think I'm not sure between Civil War and Infinity War, or it could be between the 5 years between Infinity War and Endgame. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's during those two possible time periods. I know that for sure. We got Taskmaster in those movies. You got Unibelieva, Red Guardian, and that's scheduled to come out in May. That's possibly postponed. It could be delayed again. I would not be shocked. Or if they have no other alternative, that movie could be placed on Disney Plus with the $30 price tag like they do for Mulan. Probably do better in Mulan. People will pay more for it. I probably would pay more for Black Widow on Disney Plus. And I got a stupid phone call. Thank you very much. Sorry, I had to check something on my phone. But yeah, so that's huge news. It's actually very huge news. It's breaking news, guys. It's monstrous. It's gigantic proportions of news. News hitting this show in the last hour or so. It's coming out that Chris Evans to reprise his role as Captain America back in the MCU in some small role. Not a movie. He won't be in a movie, but this is huge. This is groundbreaking. I'm excited. Hopefully, maybe to have him do some scenes in some movies, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna just be in some of the TV shows. You would think Falcon and Winter Soldier at some point because that's the most logical story they could go with because they're part of the Captain America, right? Comics and stuff. But that's it just hit the news. It just hit. It's all trending over Twitter, man. Just check. Just search it up. It's on IGN. It's all over Twitter. Captain America. Chris Evans is back as Captain America and talks. Nothing close, nothing official, but it looks like it's heading in the right direction, and I can't wait. All right, let's go to another MCU property, another Marvel property. That's gonna debut tomorrow, and that's WandaVision starting. Caitlin Olsen as Wanda, who's and we got Vision in it. Catherine Hahn's in it. The actress who plays Monica Rambeau's in it. I believe Kat Dennings as Darcy Lewis is gonna be in it. Yeah, I know the actress of Monica Rambeau. I forget her name. She's in the Captain Marvel movie. I don't know how she's gonna fit in. But this is gonna be like, you could tell. I don't know. You could tell by this show. It's gonna be all over the place, but it's gonna make sense because you see him like it's like a '50s comedy. You could tell the way that one there's this one scene, there's a teaser scene where they both it's like in the '50s black and white TV, right? No color TV, so it's back in the '50s. They had two separate beds, Vision on one on the other, and it was very '50s '60s comedy humor. Then if you didn't. It may not fit with the humor now, but if you understand '50s comedy, that humor would make sense. Of course, if you watch like, for example, I Love Lucy, that would make sense. Pause. That's what WandaVision is gonna be. It's gonna be all over the place, but it's gonna make sense because it's gonna be different time periods. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like what's in Vision's head or Wanda's head, what life would be like. And I don't know what else I could say. I mean, it's the kicking off Phase 4. That's what they said to go. It was supposed to come out in December, but they kicked it back a month to January 15th tomorrow to start Phase 4. They're going to show I believe they're going to show the first two episodes. I believe they're about 25 to 30 minutes long, each episode. I think Mandalorian, because Mandalorian didn't have a definite time for each episode. Some were like 30 minutes, some were like 40 minutes, some were like 50 minutes. But I believe WandaVision episodes are actually have an actual time from start to finish. So the ending is not different like Mandalorian endings are. So this kickoff Phase 4. First two episodes are tomorrow. Remember, WandaVision kicks off Phase 4, and then in March, Falcon and Winter Soldier for about 2 months, and Loki is in May. And then we'll get some news in May. Hopefully in May we got Black Widow. I don't know when Shang-Chi is coming out. I'm sorry about that. I just ate stuff really heavy. I don't know when Eternals is coming out. Eternals and Shang-Chi and Black Widow, I think we're supposed to come out 2020. 2020, we were supposed to have 3 Marvel movies back in 2020. Of course, circumstances prevented that. But it'll be in place in 2021. I don't know the dates of. I don't know. There's a date for Black Widow. I don't know the exact months for Shang-Chi and Eternals, but I know for Black Widow it's scheduled to come out in May. Remember, at the Disney's investor call, Disney still confirmed that we're coming in theaters in May. Things may change, but the way 2001, how the first few months of 2021 is going to determine. It's going to determine that projection for Black Widow to come out in May of 2021. It's going to determine how these first few months are, and by the way, looks of it, it'll probably get moved back. Unless we see signs in countries, specifically the States, I think seeming like a game better, a little better. I mean, like I don't expect fully better. There are signs in some countries. Israel, for example, looks like it's working, but that's just in Israel. That's just one country, because they 20 almost quarter of the populations got vaccinated, and there's signs of it working there. But we'll see how U.S., Canada, Europe, they need also the Asian market, the market in Asia, specifically China, and we'll see how it does. We'll see how those countries, if they're doing better, if the things are going down, and you see people, and you see the infections going down, hospitals getting better, less people getting sick. I'm hopeful. Hopefully that's going to happen. Apparently, in the UK, they plan to vaccinate 500,000 people a day starting next week. Governments. 500,000 a day is pretty good. It's very good if you could do that. I mean, 500,000, you times that by 7, let's see what you get, like 3.5 million? Yeah, 3.5 million. And in the UK, it's about UK, including Ireland, Wales, and Scotland. It's about 65 to 68 million population. So if you do that, if you vaccinate 3.5 million people a week or whatever, including a second dose, I guess second dose has to get involved. But say you times that by say 30 days, 30 days on average. That's 15 million a month. And so that's pretty good. 15 million a month. In Israel, we see that about a quarter, and it seems it's working. So if you get the quarter maybe of the UK, like if their plan is, maybe you'll see some signs. I think it's working. Maybe they'll have, and if it's the same in the US has to ramp up. They're starting to ramp up. If we've seen the signs of infection rates, not let hospitals are getting better with people less getting less beds. Less people are dying. People are not sick. If we start seeing that, maybe Black Widow will come out. I said maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. But those other movies, I think there's a better chance those movies will be in the theaters. Shang-Chi and Eternals. If it's not, I think those two movies will 100% will go on Disney Plus. Especially Shang-Chi. I think that's the most likely of the Marvel movies to go on Disney Plus. Because Black Widow has a very well-known cast. Eternals is a very well-known cast. Well, Shang-Chi has some actors you probably recognize, but they're not very well-known. And it's probably out of those two, of those three I mentioned, it's probably the lowest on the most watched scale of those three Marvel movies. Black Widow is one. Eternals is probably is number two. That's what in my opinion. And Shang-Chi is three on the spectrum of Marvel movies that are most likely people would categorize as seeing first in 2020. Like, say if they all come out in the same month, I think it'll be Black Widow 1, Eternals 2, and Shang-Chi 3. I'm just using an example. But WandaVision is tomorrow, guys. First two episodes. They're about 25 to 30 minutes long, apparently. And that's be the first thing I'll do is watch in the morning is WandaVision when I wake up, take a shower, get dressed, clean myself. WandaVision is the first thing I'll be wearing. Watching, not wearing. What do I say? I'm so stupid, huh? For saying that. So, while back, so Disney confirmed they're gonna make a Deadpool 3 for the MCU, right? They confirmed they're gonna do Deadpool 3, and the speculation is it gonna be rated R? Is it talking to be rated R? We got confirmation that Deadpool 3, the Disney is doing something a little different. Man, most their movies are never like rated R, PG-13 to PG. That's the limit they'll go. But this is great. This is like something you would never see from Disney. Disney has confirmed that Deadpool 3 will be rated R and maybe some way part of the MCU. And in my opinion, it's the only possible way they can go. Deadpool 3 has to follow the first two Deadpools, which were rated R. You can't. I think if they made Deadpool 3 PG-13, it would hurt the franchise, the brand of Deadpool in terms of the movies, because his character is definitely rated R material. I mean, there's blood, gore, sex, stuff like that. Let's remember Fox when Logan, right? Remember the X-Men movies? All the X-Men movies were PG-13, but they decided to make Logan rated R, and I think it worked. Logan was great as a rated R movie. One of the best X-Men movies. I don't know if I would call it X-Men Universe movies, I would say, because it's not part of the X-Men main story. It's not part of the from the 2000s, X-Men 1, X-Men United, X-Men Last Stand, and then you got the Wolverine, and then you got the one who's in Japan, and then you got Logan, which is the best one, which is a great X-Men movie. X-Men movies are either hit and miss, but Logan was probably the best X-Men spin-off kind of movie there is. I guess the Wolverine movies are considered spin-off movies. I guess New Mutants would be considered a spin-off movie. but they were perfect, guys. They were that low, and so Deadpool has no choice but rated R. Maybe we'll get some more X-Men characters, and we got with Colossus, and I forget the other one, Pixie or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more characters in it. Oh, there's also other big Marvel news, rumor news. I forgot to write it down. I'll get to it, guys. So there's talk about Doctor Doom appearing in Black Panther 2. Yes, Doctor Doom is making his MCU debut in Black Panther 2. It hasn't been confirmed, but there's talk about it. I haven't seen any legit sources about it, but there has been some talk about. There has been some whispers about it. We'll be sure. Like MCU likes to keep things quiet. Disney sometimes likes to keep things quiet, but how do I feel about this? Actually, I don't know. I know that we had to rewrite. Ryan Coogler, the director, has to rewrite Black Panther 2 with them confirming that T'Challa, they're not going to replace T'Challa, they're not going to replace Chadwick Boseman with a new actor under the mantle of Black Panther, which is the right thing to do. Because I think that's disrespectful to him. I think it's the wrong thing to do. It would have been the wrong thing to do is replace T'Challa. Chadwick Boseman. But it looks like we're getting a new Black Panther, guys. A new enemy for Black Panther 2 movie. Doctor Doom, possibly. It hasn't been confirmed. Now, let's see. We know that Kevin Feige pretty much said of the three properties, X-Men, Fantastic Four, the two properties, because we got Spider-Man in it. Fantastic Four is most likely to make the jump before X-Men, and I believe that before he even said, I believe the Fantastic Four would make the jump before X-Men way ahead of time, because I feel the MCU, it's not how the previous Fantastic Four movies were, and not happy about it. They feel that they're the only ones who can fix it. So that's why I feel like they're gonna be before X-Men and Doctor Doom in Black Panther 2. Maybe they'll some way introduce the Fantastic Four in that movie. Because I think without Doctor Doom, without the Fantastic Four, you can't have Doctor Doom. You need a Fantastic Four in some capacity. Doctor Doom. Maybe Doctor Doom tries to take over a vulnerable, kingless. If even kingless is a word. Country of Wakanda, maybe, I don't know. You have to find a way something to defend it. Like, who's gonna be the hero of Black Panther 2? Like, who's gonna be the new hero? Maybe they have the introduce a Fantastic Four, and that's when they get a Fantastic Four movie coming off the MCU, Fantastic Four movie, and Doctor Doom somehow. Black Panther's the enemy, but somehow becomes a Fantastic Four enemy. I don't know. There's a lot of things they could do. Black Panther 2 could introduce the Fantastic Four in some way with Doctor Doom. Because I believe you need the Fantastic Four with Doctor Doom. And I believe MCU, when they do the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom, I believe they'll do it correctly. They'll look back at those variations of Doctor Doom in the past movies and be like, yeah, this is not the one we want to see. Doctor Doom, we gotta fix this Doctor Doom. We gotta fix the Fantastic Four. We gotta make them look like that we care, that we understand them, and that's what the MCU has done with the Marvel characters. They made them close to the comics and understand them. They could read. And the rumor is that Doctor Doom might be like the next big villain, like the Thanos villain. I don't know if that's a great idea. I think Doctor Doom could be a low-key villain. Good and bad, can help with the good, help with the bad. Plays on both sides. And they can have a big time villain, a bigger villain. I don't know, maybe Galactus. I don't know. For the final phase. For the final big time battle like that with Thanos and Endgame. I don't know. But hopefully, like, if Doctor Doom, right? Now let's talk about Wade Fisher. Wade Fisher has been apparently fired by mourners. He will not appear in a Flash movie like originally planned. And why am I not surprised by this, guys? I'm not surprised that Warner would not want to do anything with him. He's suing them, right? He's suing what the stuff that happened on Set with Josh Whedon, Walter Hamada claims Walter Hamada is an enabler, Jeff Johns. He's suing them, and of course. But I want to see Ray Fisher's point of view. I think he should be happy not being a not. I think he should be happy not to be in the movie, the Flash movie. Because if this stuff is true, and Walter Hamada is still in charge, he should be happy not to be in the Flash movie. I mean, it'd be honorable. I know it was originally planned to be in the Flash movie, but why would he want to work for Warner Brothers right now? Why would he want to work for Warner Brothers? He should be happy not being in the Flash movie. And I'm not. And what he's saying could be true, could be not true. I don't know what. I mean, I think it's true what he says about Warner and time, what's going on, what happened behind the scenes of Justice League and stuff. I think it's true, but I think he should be happy not to be in the Flash movie. Why would he want to work with these people, right? Why would he want to work with people, especially Walter Hamada, who has a contract extended to 2023? I don't know. See what I see. I don't get Ray Fisher now, but if I was him, I would want to work in the Flash movie, either, because the way Warner Bros. Is treating him. I mean, who says if they. What they would have to do, right, for him to get working on a Flash movie, we have to find these guys guilty and Warner's. And they have to get rid of these guys, fire these guys, like Walter Hamada, let them go, and let other guys, and hire new management personnel, someone in charge, a new person in Walter Hamada's position, which he's not going to do because he's there to 2023. They have to do a lot of rebranding and stuff. Rebranding, new people. They got to change your image, make it look like a positive light, not this negative light they're in right now. And then you know what, Ray, if you're listening, I like you, man. I think you're telling the truth and stuff, but I'm gonna say this: I think you should be happy not being in the Flash movie. I think you should be happy not being in the Flash movie. Unless there's new stuff, new management comes around, and things change, then okay, work on it. But I think then I think you should. But right now, I think you should be happy not being in the Flash movie, because I wouldn't want to work with Warner right now if I was Ray Fisher. That's just my opinion. And I know there's a lot of people against Ray Fisher, but I'll grab how Ray Fisher's been fired. Blah, blah, blah. It proves that Warner's telling the truth. Yeah, but bullshit. If you know how corporations work, then yeah, you understand. And there's a reason he can't give evidence to the public. He only can say a little at a time when his legal counsel can say it's all right. And that's all I'm going to talk about Ray Fisher, man. Okay, so Lord of the Rings, guys. So, Lord of the Rings is coming to Amazon, right? TV series. So they set the premise. Apparently the premise is it's going to take place during the Second Age. The Rise of Sauron, different stories that involve in the books. None of the Lord of the Rings books, none of the Hobbit. This is going to take place before Lord of the Rings and before the Hobbit, so Second Age. This is when Sauron rose to power and stuff, and at the end of the Second Age, this is his defeat. That's the end of the Second Age. So it's gonna be they're gonna talk about Sauron basically rising. What Sauron was like, maybe the forging of the rings to the kings, the dwarfs, the elves, the land of Numar. How how the island of Numar fallen, and that's how Gondor in another country I forget. I can't forget the name of the other country. How the fallen members of the Numar are the Dunedain, the race of men that Aragon is descended from, and how they fought and stuff like that. Also, we'll have maybe how the nine kings they got the rings. How they became the Nazgul. You know the Nazgul, those who are and the rich king that serves Sauron. Maybe we'll get stories like that. I'm excited for that. Maybe they'll mention their first Dark Lord from the first age, Malkor / Morgoth, and etc. Maybe. But so those are going to involve a lot of. So those are going to involve second age stuff from the books, the Silmarillion, whatever it's called, written by, which is good, a good book. It's good. So maybe we get the origins of the king, the lineage of the descendants of Aragon, from his descent from the first king of Gondor, whatever, and how throughout the years, we find out Aragon's history, not his history per se, but more of his family history from thousands of years, from the Second Age, and how Isildur, right, the one who cut off the ring and was supposed to throw the ring into the fire, how his father and his brother, how they left Numar before Numar was destroyed. They went to Gondor and the other countries that formed those kingdoms, and that explains Aragon's descension from those guys, from there. And maybe we'll find how Aragon became this, tricked these people, was able to shapeshift into an elf named Anatar, and trick into Sebelmore, I think his name is, into tricking, making those rings for the kings, dwarfs, and elves. Maybe we'll find out in this. I mean, I don't know how many seasons it's gonna be, right? It's gonna be epic. A lot of money's going involved into this project, guys. And let's get it done because they're filming in Australia. Yeah. Sorry. Going to Australia. And before we're gonna get to, okay, so we got some movie news. So it looks like Morbius is being moved to October, and at the same time Venom 2 is supposed to come out. And I guess the reason for this, I know they're delaying it obviously, but I think there's a bigger reason. It's a vampire movie. Remember, Morbius suffers from blood condition that kind of turns in a serum, whatever, turns into a vampire-like creature, right? So basically, they want to move it to Halloween season, October, Halloween season. They compete with Venom, and it makes sense. Release a vampire Marvel movie or Sonic movie in Halloween month. We're gonna have Vulture back in it. Jared Leto's playing Morbius. Eddie Raymond, is it, or Matt Smith? I forget who is playing the enemy. I forget the villain, the main enemy. But that's the only reason I think they're moving it to October. Like the main reason is because it's Halloween season. It might not put this vampire Sony movie into it. Even though I don't think it's part of MCU, but Morbius is part of the Marvel universe in the comics and stuff. It's a Marvel character, but his rights is not owned by Marvel Studios. So that's the reason it's back. That's the reason it's been moved to October, I believe, and that's what some people believe. I mean, I think it's too early to delay it because of what's happening in the world right now. I think it'd be too early to delay it because of that. So I think that's the only logical reason it's been moved to October because of Halloween season. I'm interested in seeing because I want to see how it ties into the Spider-Man universe because it's part of the Spider-Man universe, the Sony universe, and so my guess is part of MCU universe because the Vulture's in it, right? And the Vulture's in Spider-Man Homecoming, and that's a Spider-Man movie owned by Sony, but in connection with the MCU, and he's Tony Stark's in it. You know what I mean? And he's coming back as a Joker in the Snyder Cut Justice League, guys. Remember that. Okay. This show might end early, so I don't know. Let's see what else is to talk about. Okay, guys, so Liam Neeson, right? Liam Neeson, you know him from Taken. Well, he was Ra's or Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins. You know, Liam Neeson. Okay, so you know he plays Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. The master of Obi-Wan Kenobi dies at the end. I'm spoiling. If you haven't seen it, the movie was like 25 years ago. If you haven't seen it, then too bad. You know he dies. Darth Maul kills him, right? So Qui-Gon wants to reprise his role. I mean, not Qui-Gon. I mean Liam Neeson wants to reprise his role as Qui-Gon in the Star Wars and back in Star Wars. And I'm all for it. Bring back Qui-Gon Jinn. I thought he was one of the best things about Phantom Menace. We saw how Obi-Wan was a young Padawan. We saw how wise Qui-Gon is. Yes, he did discover Anakin. He did kind of disagree with the Jedi Council about Anakin, about there's darkness in Anakin, but Qui-Gon believed he could train him to overcome that darkness or whatever darkness is. He believes he could get him in the right direction, right? He obviously that fails as the sequels from Phantom Menace went on. Comes Darth Vader. The Jedi Council was right. There was too much darkness in him, too much pain and misery in him. Qui-Gon believed that he could help Anakin not fall into the darkness that the Jedi Council feared that Anakin had. Right? So I believe he's gonna. If it's true, I don't know if the Kenobi series is a one season. If it's not, I can see him appearing in this if they plan to have more seasons. Of course, as a Force ghost, he's dead, so he won't come back as a living person. He's not going to be like Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker and clone himself. He's not that devious. He's not manipulative like that. He will not clone himself, okay? But if they want him to come back, yeah, I'm all for it. If it's some capacity as a Force ghost for Obi-Wan, help him, guide him, get his confidence back, because Obi-Wan maybe still feels bad for himself about letting, but by letting down his promise to Qui-Gon to train Anakin. Remember, when Qui-Gon died, Obi-Wan took on the Master, and Anakin as Padawan. He took it as a promise to Qui-Gon. So maybe, some way they can use that, because Obi-Wan promised Qui-Gon to train Anakin when Qui-Gon passed. And we know that Obi-Wan and Darth Vader are gonna have a little meeting in the Kenobi series. A meeting, guys. Yeah, of course. A meeting. They're gonna talk out their problems and go for lunch. No, I'm joking. I'm just. They're gonna make up. No, I'm joking. They're not gonna make up. Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm like this. I think it'd be a good idea. Jobert. Qui-Gon Jinn. I don't think they're bringing him from the dead. You know in Star Wars, right? When a Jedi dies, You see Star Wars obviously when a Jedi dies or is one with the Force, right? The one with the Force. You know, like Kenobi in the first Star Wars, A New Hope. He disappeared. In the end, you see the end of Return of Jedi. You see Anakin Skywalker, Darth Yoda, and Obi-Wan as ghosts, right? That's what I mean. They're gonna come back as ghosts. They're called Force ghosts. So they're not technically, they're not dead. They're dead. In physical form, they're dead, but they're one with the Force. It's like, it's hard to explain, you know? They're physically dead, but they're not fully dead. It's like this, I don't know, I can't explain. You know what I mean, right? Because you've seen the Star Wars movies, I assume. So you know what I mean by them as a ghost. So that's why, yeah. So yeah, that's why I think that's the most likely scenario for Liam Neeson's character. If Disney wants him back in some way, be perfect for the Kenobi series. Because his connection with Ben Kenobi or Obi-Wan Kenobi is what. Oh yeah, but yeah, okay, I understand. But you remember, I know you remember that. What I mean, though. It's complicated. Like look, I like Star Wars, but I'm not Star Wars nut. Like I'm not Star Wars nut, and you have to go on YouTube to look for Star Wars people. There are positive Star Wars people that like to talk about Star Wars in a positive way. There's a lot of negative stuff in Star Wars world right now, and stay away from those guys because they're shitheads. I do watch some positive Star Wars people on YouTube. I stay away from the negatives. And Star Wars is very divided, and it's sickening, to be honest with you. This might be the most divided fan base right now. So Qui-Gon, if it comes back to the Kenobi series, good. If they plan to go more than one season, good. What's the Kenobi series, like 4 episodes? I don't know. I'm just checking something, guys. What else was I going to talk about, guys? Let's see any more movie news. If there's any more movies I'll talk about. Okay, let's see. It's probably gonna be all Chris Evans stuff. So Captain America, Chris Evans stuff. Let's see. Cardi B landed a role in a comedy movie. And on the confirmation of Ray Fisher not being in the Flash movie, Ray Fisher's the one that confirmed it. He posted a statement on his Twitter. Once Hamada got the 2-year extension for 2023, Ray Fisher was done. Yep, he's done. He was just gonna have a cameo in BVS and a starring role in the Justice League. He's gonna be in the Snyder Cut Justice League. Yeah, he was done once Hamada extended, got his contract extended for 2 years. Ray Fisher was done with Warner. It was done. It was nail in the coffin, and he should be happy. I know it's a Flash. If you want to be a hero, you want to be in a DC movie, but with this management, with Warner Brothers treating you like this stuff, you should be happy, man. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna end it here. 45 minutes. So before I go, I'm gonna plug stuff. Watch The Distraction and Fightful in about 15 minutes with Joe Huber. Joe, the Chubby Chief is he called, right? The Chubby Chief and the Point Guard Jeremy Lambert. They're gonna talk about their anniversary. There's a 1 year anniversary of The Distraction. That's in about 15 minutes. Check out Fightful's YouTube channel. I'm gonna talk this Saturday. Oh, for tomorrow I'm gonna make a video previewing the NFL playoff semifinals this week, Saturday and Sunday, and then Saturday, Why We Love Sports episode 12. I'm gonna talk about the biggest news in the sports world: Harden being traded to Brooklyn. I'm gonna talk about that, and we got hockey started. So that's a 3 p.m. Saturday. So it's Monday. It's all about wrestling. I gotta set that up. But yeah, that's 3 p.m. Eastern too. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe below, and have a good day wherever you are in this world. Jeez, come on. End broadcast.